host, Karla Nivens.
Hi, everyone. My name is Karla Nivens. I am the host for Every Heart, Every Woman. Our show is a partner of Love Ministries, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Go to loveministriesbuilds.org. There's so much going on with the Love Ministries, so check in with us there. Also, you can head to my website, karlanivens.com, where we are in part B of our first conversation. I'm so excited. I'm not going to waste any time. I would love for us just to jump back into where we left off. Minister LaToya Jones is joining us today, also as co-host. LaToya, reintroduce our guests, and then let's continue our conversation.
All right. So we have with us, I was going to say the fabulous, but I'll keep it short. So we have with us Oneida and Ana from Casa dos Chicas Cafe. And we're excited about this conversation. It is rich. It is full of culture. It is full of purpose, of, planning and making sure you're able to accomplish those things that are in your heart to do. And I also see maybe some droplings or seedlings of just kind of blueprint, like how do you get started? Because one of the things y'all talked about before was just the people that you need to have in place will not only come to you, but that your paths will cross. And so I think that's awesome, because that seems to come up a lot in our last conversation. So the question that I have is, so Ana and I went to college together at Oral Roberts University, and we were talking on the phone recently. And one of the things that I asked her is, when you were in college at ORU, did you ever think that you would be where you are today as a successful business owner? So I'm going to toss that question to Ana again today, because you guys need to hear what she has to say about this. All right.
Toya. Thank you again for having us, Karla. So back at ORU, obviously I'm a college student, and the world seemed so big to me when I went to Tulsa. I'm from a little town in Indiana, which how I got there also is a long story. But growing up in the sticks, as Chris calls them, Tulsa was huge, and especially coming to a college that had a lot of international students and people from all over the country, I was like, my eyes were like open. I'm like, wow. I majored in accounting because I fell in love with accounting in high school, and this was my path, right? And I knew that I wanted to work for a CPA firm, get my CPA license, and then my goal was just to end up working at a ministry somewhere. That was my goal back then, right? And as a college student, you think, oh, end up working at a ministry. You don't think you're working for so long, right? Because we're 20 years old. Here I'm almost on the 50 side, right? But it was asked to me, okay, so now what? I've done what I wanted to do, right? So now what is the next goal? What am I going to work on next, right? Because we still have more than half our lives to live, right? At this, because obviously we're going to live more than 20, 30 years, right? So what is it that I want to do? I've already reached my goals. So to answer your question, Toya, I had no idea I was going to be a business owner. I just thought I was going to be in the back somewhere as a good little accountant, glasses on, and just working with my head down, closing books, preparing reports. And that was all I knew, because that was all I knew, right? You don't know what you don't know until you know different, right? So, but I knew I was good at what I did, right? And so, when you just focus on really, like, I was reading an article that Kenneth Copeland had written about a job is not just a job. It's really being a blessing to somebody else by bringing your gift to them, right? Because, and it's it's exemplified perfectly with Franco Blueprint with Oneida's business. She works with small businesses, right? That they don't have the bandwidth to have an accounting department. They might not have the budget to hire full-time people, but everyone needs good accounting. They need their books to be closed. They need tax returns to be filed. They need to figure out what's working, what's not, right? And she's filling in that gap, right? She's helping people out. That's the heart of her business. And so if you think of what your gift is, then you're able to maximize your potential, because you're going to other people. How can I help you? It's not, oh, I need to open up a business, right? And I know a lot of times some people will ask, well, how do you decide what to do to, like, what kind of business should I open? That's like the wrong question to ask, because if you don't know, then that's not going to work. It should be inside of you already, right? Like me and Oneida, we had a heart for accounting. We had obviously the love for coffee, right? And establishing those relationships and helping people, you know, the coffee that you're drinking, and it's not that we downplay all coffee, because that coffee is necessary because it's the livelihood of other people, right? Those coffee growers. But it's, you know, there's better coffee that you can drink. There's coffee that is actually good for you, right? So out of that love to help people drink better coffee, to help the farmers that are producing this quality coffee, buying directly from them so they don't have that intermediary that is paying them so little for their coffee, we can pay more, and it's a win-win. And so to be a successful business owner, it was kind of in my thread, but I didn't even realize it, right? Because you're flowing right along, but you have to sit and think, now that you've set your goals, I need to establish more goals, because I'm not finished living. I'm not finished doing, right? So hopefully that gives you a little insight.
Yes, awesome. And for our listeners, Karla, that are maybe in their late 30s, 40s, 50, or even further down the line, our mature saints, I think that's very important to know that just because you've gotten to a certain place in your life does not mean that life stops there. It does not mean that purpose stops there. Find out what you want to do, find out who you have a passion to help, and explore that. Like see where that leads you. That's what I hear that you guys have been able to do, Anna and Oneida. I have one more question, and that is, Oneida, I'll let you take this one. It says, what would you say to encourage women that may have a desire or dream to do something, but they're hesitant to step out? And actually, both of you can answer this question.
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think Anna I'm gonna kind of like begin where Anna left off. And it's like, when you have a passion, whatever that is, I think you should first start by asking yourself what that passion is. Because if you're asking yourself like, oh, what kind of business do I start? That's the wrong place. You have to already have a passion. I think you also have to have like, to bring it down really to earth, like you really have to have also experience in what you're doing. And if you do have something that it's kind of been like a side passion, you know, go out and explore, you know, like Anna and I did, you know, with coffee, but like really be invested in it, you know, do your market research too, because it's not like Anna and I, you know, knew everything about coffee. You know, we had an advantage that we knew about business. So we already had kind of like that part covered. Like, okay, we know about business, you know, how to start a business, all that stuff, like the accounting, you know, how to register a company, all that back office thing. But when it came to actually the industry of coffee, like we had to go out there, and we were happy to do it. We were happy to talk to people, to investigate. So I think it's having a passion, one, and just kind of really going out there and exploring that passion, like indulging in that passion. because otherwise then you're not going to get up and do the work, because it takes a lot of, although you might be passionate about something, but you have to realize that, there's work involved in that passion.
Yes. Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anna, do you also want to answer the question?
Sure. I would say the same thing as Oneida was saying, but then a step further, right? You take your passion, right? But then you just start doing it. Just start doing something. Start doing something today. I know I read that book called The One Thing. What is that one thing that you can focus on that you're passionate about? Okay, so if you're passionate about candles, right? Focus on doing something about it each day. It doesn't have to be a whole day, but do something. Can you read about candles? Can you watch something about candles? Can you learn about candle making? How do you make candles? What are the different types of candles? How do you make scents, right? What's out there? Who are the best candle makers? And then you just but you do something every day. Just do something about what it is that you're passionate about. You're passionate about stuffed animals. You're passionate about kids. You're passionate about education. You're passionate about books. You're passionate about whatever it is that it is. Because that's one thing that I do tell my son, who's a teenager, right? Because he's starting down the path of what am I going to do when I grow up, right? And it's not, well, part of it is what do you want to do? But I just told him, don't go down the path of, well, these careers pay high, or this, this looks like it's fun to do. What is in you? Because when you're passionate about something, if you follow down that path, at the end of the day, like Oneida was saying, a job is a job. It's going to have its pitfalls. You're going to be tired. You're not going to want to do it. But if you have that passion that drives you, at least you have that to help you go in and do something that day towards it. So that's what I would say. If you're passionate about food, start taking classes, get certified to handle food. What are the requirements? And that's how we started with the coffee. We got registered with the FDA. We took the classes for coffee. We went to the expo. We met coffee producers, coffee roasters. You establish those relationships and you create your community. Then out of that community is where a lot of ideas also come out, right? So you can find your niche. And how can I help people with what I'm passionate about? That's what I would say.
I love that. Can you, I know that it's about time for us to close out, but can you all tell us about the classes that you offer and about the different experiences that go with the different coffees that you have?
Sure, we do online sensory experiences. We haven't done an in-person one yet, just because we launched in the heart of COVID. So we kind of mastered the online presence. So we have beautiful boxes that have our branding on it, and we send some samples of our coffee that people taste. And then there's a surprise in there, but it comes with tasting sheets, because you'd be amazed. A lot of times when we eat foods or drink our beverages, we're not really tasting it. We're just eating it and drinking it, not really paying attention. And so when you actually pause and think about, what am I tasting here? Where am I tasting it? Is it sweet? Is it acidic? Is it bitter? Is it well-rounded? Is it heavy? Is it, so that we explore all that when we do our online sensory experience, as well as, does it remind me of Christmas? Does it remind me of a summer day, right? Does it taste like peaches and cream, right? So that type of journey is what we go through with the coffees. And then you get a special spoon. And it's really, we tell people to segment out about 2 hours, because the actual event is about an hour 15. But when it comes time to, then we get the feedback, all the interaction, and then people, oh my gosh, I didn't know coffee was so complex. And oh my gosh, this, so you get to talk about coffee, which one was your favorite, why. So it does end up being about 2 hours, but it is the feedback that we get is the best 2 hours that people have had. They've never had that experience before when they taste coffee. So, and then once you do that, then everything is a tasting experience, and you're tasting desserts, you're tasting wine. Even now, like I taste water. Water tastes different from different regions and different, even like bottled water, different waters taste different. So it's definitely an experience.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Well, ladies, thank you all so much for being on with us for part A and part B.
Yes.
I want to encourage first of all, I want to encourage the two of you all. We never let our guests leave without encouraging them. You all truly are a blessing. Your story is amazing. We can tell how much you enjoy taking a deep dive into coffee, and then how much you enjoy passing that passion on to other people. So I want to encourage everyone to go to CasaDosChicasCafe.com, right?
Yes.
And
it's a mouthful.
I love it. No, I love it. Jump into their website. There's a lot to read and a lot to take in, and support their business. This really has been a blessing. And so for all of our listeners, we really indeed pray that you feel uplifted, that you feel inspired. We've been talking about fear along with LaTorla Jones and in Flames of Passion. We've also talked about On Every Heart Blueprint. And so both of those themes came up. So we're going to continue on with both of those themes. So I hope that your heart really was enlightened, but that your mind, that you had some light bulb moments going off as you listen to part A and part B. Continue to reach out to us. What you hear, like it, share it with your friends. Get it out there so more people can be uplifted and inspired. My name is Karla Nivens. I am the host of Every Heart, Every Woman. We are a partner with Love Ministries Builds. Love Ministries, go to loveministriesbuilds.org to get all of the great information about Love Ministries. Minister LaTorla Jones, thank you so much for co-hosting and bringing these two wonderful ladies into the Every Heart, Every Woman family. For more information about LaTorla, you can go to, give us your website again.
So the Flames of Passion website, I gave a Jarvis joint earlier, but I'll give Flames of Passion is www.flamesofpassion.we, that's we.weebly.com.
All right. And then you can as well go to karlanivens.com. Well, we hope everyone has a great week. We'll see you back here next week.
Every heart, every woman. Every heart, every woman.